Hey everyone, welcome back. So today I am going to be giving you a review of the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Foundation. This is supposed to be a long wear foundation that is considered soft matte. It's supposed to blend seamlessly into the skin, leaving it with a flawless finish. She has a huge color range from cool tones to warm tones and to neutral tones. The shade that I picked up today was 210. This foundation retails for $34. It's supposed to be applied with a foundation brush that she has with her part of her foundation line. I just went in today with my Heavenly Luxe foundation brush because that's my favorite brush. How many foundation brushes could a girl have? It's just too much. I like to narrow it down. If you guys want to check out my favorite foundation brushes, I'll put a link down below to that video that I made. But this is a very, it's a liquidy foundation that has a mattifying texture the moment it sits on the skin. It's quick to dry. Her claim to fame with this foundation was the fact that she had color ranges for everyone. It's supposed to be light as air, which it is. I have to say, I did not feel that much on my skin when I initially applied it. It's supposed to be medium to full coverage, and it's supposed to have like that soft focus effect out of the foundation, which it does. I will tell you it does. But I want to go over the review with you guys and take you around with me for about 12 hours so that you could see how it lasts, what my thoughts were, my pros, my cons about the product, and obviously my final thoughts. So let's get into the demo of how it looks on my skin. So I have the shade 210. I felt in Sephora this matched me the most. I hope it's not going to be too light or too cool, but we'll make it work, whatever it is. It does recommend on the website to actually use the brush that she has to apply the foundation. So I'm going to use a brush to apply this. I'm going to use the Heavenly Luxe foundation brush. I love this. You guys could check out my videos on my favorite foundation brushes. I'll put a link down below. And what basically she recommends, or the artist that I guess is directing with the makeup, is to actually just either swipe it on or just, you know, stipple or roll it on. That's supposed to be the right way to apply this foundation. So that's what we're going to do, so you guys can see exactly how to apply it and if the application process works really well for this. Not so bad. I think we can make this work. The yellow ones, the warmer tone ones, were too yellow for me, and the cool tone were too pink for me, so I went with the neutral. So I'm going to take the brush and I am just going to start by stippling it. I actually like this color for myself. Not bad. It matches really well, considering that the lighting in Sephora is terrible. So it does dry down pretty quickly. What I can tell right now is I'm applying it with the brush. So but it's giving me that soft matte finish, exactly what it says. This is beautiful. Looks like my skin just amped up just a little bit. All right, so you can see that this side is definitely more finished. It does look like my skin. It didn't cover that up 100%, but that's okay because I want to see how the coverage actually builds. So far what can I tell you is that this is light to medium coverage, and it's probably buildable. It dries down to a matte finish, but not overly drying in the matte finish. So that's good to hear, to see. And I want to just show you guys this side versus this side and how it has like that filter. It definitely has that filter effect. What I'm going to do is just build it up one more time with the brush and just see how full of coverage we can get on this. A little bit goes a long way. You do not need a lot of product. It does have a scent to it. Not crazy about it. Almost like those powdery scents. That I don't like. But so this foundation so far is very different than anything I've tried. I will give it that much. It's definitely a different texture. I do like the coverage. It still feels like it's myself. It's actually a very soft matte coverage. I don't like the scent on it at all. It does look like my own skin, but better. But what I'm going to do is, as you can see, I have all these like imperfections here, and then when I turn this way, obviously you see how it filters it out. I'm going to do a side by side of a before and after so that you guys can see the coverage. I don't like the way it's sitting on my skin over here. She does recommend that if you have dry skin to actually moisturize it really well, and I am a little dry right now, and I did apply some really good moisturizers. I'll put them down below. First, I'm not a fan of primers before foundation, as you guys know. So for me, I didn't pick up the primer. I don't even think they had it available when I went there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply this side with the Beauty Blender, and I want to see the difference in the both and see if maybe it's the Beauty Blender that does it better than the brush. So let's check that out. I don't know, I feel like it's a little cakey right now. It's nice, I don't know if I'm going to really like this, but... Oh. So we're going to go in with another pump, and let's go to this side with a Beauty Blender. It's definitely oxidizing a little bit, so the color is changing just a little bit, which is nice. It's getting a little warmer, because at first I thought it was a little too light for me, but it's not. I don't like it. Sorry. I hope you guys don't hate me for saying this, but I don't like it right now. I don't like it. It looks very cakey on my skin. I mean, I do feel that the Beauty Blender lays it down a little bit better. Yeah, I'm going to have to go over this with the Beauty Blender a little bit, because I don't like the consistency of it right now on my skin. You know what's really funny? When this launched, I was in Sephora because I had to return something, and there was a crowd around the Fenty Beauty area. Finally got a chance to squeeze my way in, and I had my son with me that day. And now one person even had the courtesy to like move over for me because I had my son. They basically pushed him out of the way. It was terrible. But anyway, so I was able to swatch quite a few colors, but they were like a bunch of animals waiting there to get into the foundation, touching it, moving everything. I've never seen a bunch of women go for makeup and just be so disrespectful touching makeup that 2 bottles dropped right in front of me, foundation splattered everywhere. Anyway, I didn't like the way it felt when I swatched it on my hand that day at all. And I said, you know what? I don't think I want to even review this product, because I could tell immediately the way it went on my hand. I didn't like the consistency. And I said I'll probably catch a lot of heat for this. But this right now is reminding me of the Urban Decay All Nighter foundation, but I think the consistency on the All Nighter is just way better right now. It didn't cover up all my imperfections completely, but it did a really good job at covering them up where they're like semi-noticeable, where you don't see it 100%, but you kind of see them peeking through just a little bit. Alright, so that's not bad. The coverage isn't bad. I'm just not crazy about it. I feel like I don't have that much good coverage right here, and I applied it so beautiful and evenly here. With the brush, I got better coverage on this side, but the only thing is it looks a little bit more cakey with the brush. And that's funny, because most of the time when I use this brush on any foundation that I use, I get such a seamless application. So I don't think a brush is the right thing to use for this foundation. It should be used with a Beauty Blender. In the mirror right here, when I look at myself, I look flawless, but like my own skin, just a little bit more matted down. It's actually really pretty, but I'm not really crazy about the consistency of this foundation. It's not really doing it for me. I find it to be not as good coverage where I want it. Kind of like doesn't stay to those areas. Like even here, I feel like I have to blend it even more, because you could see that there's a difference on my skin right here. And I don't like that at all. What I'm going to do, I am going to finish up the rest of my makeup and see how it holds up wearing all the other stuff that I put on. I'm going to go with my Beautycounter makeup. Obviously, you guys know I love Beautycounter. I'm going to go in with my this Ultimate Nudes palette. It's incredible. If you got it for the holiday season, you're going to love it. So I'm going to do that, and I will touch base with you guys when I'm done and let you know how I felt. All right, my loves, makeup is on. What I can tell you is I just don't like this. I mean, looking in the mirror right now, my skin looks flawless. It's definitely what it says, like that pro, it has that filter to it, the foundation. I don't like the way the foundation is sitting on my skin though. I don't like it. And when I applied the other makeup, I felt like it got very cakey looking and thick, which never happened to me before with these products that I'm using. It did act as a very nice base for my eyeshadow. But looking at myself from here, I do see my pores. I feel they look a little bit more accentuated. It is matte. It dries down to that powdery finish. I don't like the smell of this foundation at all. It smells like that old lady perfume. It's just too strong for me. I do feel you get a better application with the Beautyblender versus the brush. It does make it sit better on the skin with the Beautyblender. But for me right now, it's a no. I don't like it. You know what? I have to stay with family all day today because it's New Year's Eve and I just don't want to go out with this foundation on. But you know what? I'm going to give it all it's got in its glory for the next 12 hours and I'm going to see how it really holds up. I find it to be a little too thick. Even though it was liquidy when it came down on my skin, I just find it to be a little bit too much of like a thicker coverage. And I don't really like the way it's sitting on my skin. I put enough coverage up here too, and I already feel like the product has been eaten away, and just wearing it for the last 20 minutes. So I don't like that. But I am going to touch base with you guys for the day. I'm going to be out, so I'm not going to be filming back in my room. So my final thoughts will be this evening out. Hopefully the lighting will be good. So I'm going to touch base with you guys like when I'm outside in the car too, so that you could see what it looks like in natural lighting. But right now, like I said, looking in the mirror, it's nice. I don't know. I don't feel like it gave me good coverage on my nose. I don't feel that like the way the coverage is here. Sorry, don't be mad at me. I just don't like it. It's just not for me. So yeah, so I'll touch base with you guys in a little. All right, I'm back. I've had the foundation on for 2 hours now. It does look very nice on the skin, but it is very drying. It does look very dry in this area. So I think for those of you that do have probably combination skin or oily skin, this is going to be really great for you guys. I do feel it looks a little cakey. When I look a little bit closer into the mirror, I don't like the way the consistency looks on my skin. And I asked my husband when I went downstairs, I says, you know, I'm trying out a new foundation. I just want to know your thoughts from a man's perspective. How does it look? And he said, Joe, your skin looks very cakey. It looks like you have it just looks too much on you. So as of right now, it does give you a flawless finish. Very dry. I don't like the scent. The scent coming off this foundation is really bothering me. It's been making my nose leak. So I just don't like the scent at all. But we're going to touch base in another couple of hours. All right, guys, we are now at 4 hours. I have the foundation on. It's definitely super matte. It's a soft matte in terms of that filtering matte look. It has a little bit of that velvety soft finish over it. So that I like about it. The only thing is I do feel it's a little cakey. I think the reason why she came out with that Pro Filter primer was to probably soften up the texture when you put this over it. So that's probably why she created that, that primer. My oily skin girls are going to love this because it really is very matte and you'll probably get a glow at the end of the day. But as of right now, I do feel that it is very matte. It is full coverage. It's not medium to full. It's definitely full coverage. And the overall coverage is very nice. I do feel it on my skin. I feel it very drying on my skin. And but it does look flawless. I don't feel that it stayed in certain areas, and I do feel that it cakes up around certain lines of the face. I also do feel that it softens up from initial application in a couple of hours. It does soften up a little bit. It did oxidize a lot, so this is still it on my hands. I don't know if it's picking up here in the light, but like I went with the one that had a more of a peachy undertone because the yellows and the cools were way off for me. Hey guys, it is now 11:30. I have the foundation on about 12 hours right now, so I don't know if the lighting is picking it up really well because I don't have very good lighting where I am. What I have to say, it's definitely matte full coverage foundation. It does have that velvety texture to it on the skin. It doesn't feel like you have anything on your skin when I touch it. It doesn't have any tackiness. But at this point, it's safe to say that I love the way it looked when I looked at myself in the mirror, but I didn't like the way it felt on my skin. My skin started to feel like a little irritated about halfway through the day, and I started to notice I started breaking out a little bit here and a little bit up here. and my cheeks just didn't feel right. When I applied my concealer earlier, I don't like the way the other makeup products sit on my skin after I apply the foundation. So for me, I just feel that it's like a waste of product, and the products that I have didn't really deliver very well on this foundation. So what I can say on a positive note about the foundation, it is that soft focus, flawless finish, but I don't like the texture of the foundation on my skin at all. I don't like the way it's sitting on my skin. I don't like the way it feels on my skin, and I was really disappointed in the way it blended out. That bothered me. So for me, this is a foundation I'm going to have to pass on. It's not something that I feel that I would recommend to my clients or my subscribers on here. If you guys are watching this and coming here for an honest review. So for me, it was just something that I don't think I could recommend. So this was a no-go for me. It's just not a foundation that I like. If you have really oily skin, you might benefit from this product without a primer, but also with a gel formula moisturizer. But I did have some movement, not a lot. I have to say the staying power was there. I didn't have a lot of movement, but I do feel when I looked in the mirror a little bit more up close, I do feel that it looks cakey on the skin. This is the type of foundation, as the day progresses, that the foundation actually looks better. So the fullness of the coverage, that cakey look that I had initially this morning earlier, was not there now. So not as cakey. So for me, I was happy about that, but I can't say that I was quite impressed. I don't really like the way it sat here on this part of my face. It accentuated the pores here, so that really bothered me. So, you know, I'm sorry guys, this is just not a foundation that I feel that's worth it. If you really want a really good full coverage, medium to full coverage foundation that looks flawless on the skin, I'm gonna have to stick with the Urban Decay All Nighter foundation. It's been my favorite for a while now, and to me it's hands down just such a great foundation for everyone. So if there was a foundation you would want me to compare to this one to give you that actual soft focus look, it would be the Urban Decay All Nighter foundation. So you know, so I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you have any questions, I'm here. And I also want to touch base on the fact that she probably came out with that filter, primer filter, because it would give the skin that smooth, glowy texture to go over this, and that was probably what's giving a radiant glow. But you have to remember, primers aren't for everyone, and I find that primers sometimes actually alter the texture of the foundation. So it's not something that I think is a necessity. So for me, I just, you know, I hope you guys like this review. This was just a no-go for me. Sorry about that if there's a lot of you out here that like this foundation, but for me, it just was something that I could not recommend, and I have to be very honest in my reviews. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see all of you in my next video.